All right. Well, I'm going to record this because I've been talking about this for several weeks, but figured it would be as good a time as any to maybe talk about some of the cool deck building happening here. So, this here is a really interesting idea put forward by Lorkac, I think is the correct pronunciation, um, which is basically a Maverick list that tries to play a Delver style game plan as much as possible. And it's kind of built that way top to bottom. Everything from its threat choices to how many disrupting cards it has and all kinds of other stuff. Its kind of lack of card advantage. So there's some really interesting stuff here. Lorcac successfully piloted this to, I think, 8-3 at Eternal Weekend, which was awesome. And I think had the best finish of any kind of like non-cradle control Green Sun Zenith style list. And I don't know, I just think it's really cool and figured why not give this a try here before we head into the holidays. All right, so to try and discuss them. So for this deck tech here, um, we're gonna do just a tiny bit of building live, and then we're gonna restart MTGO and go live into a league there. Okay, so first thing here. So I non-traditionally like some kind of different card choices than a lot of people. I couldn't decide which, so I figured it'd be fun to choose both the Yargle swords and this new Bloomburrow swords. So we're splitting those 2 and 2. I know it's not totally ideal for when people thought it's easier or whatever, but I couldn't decide. So I've made some small changes between here and Lorcac's list, despite like wanting to like respect the original spirit of the list as much as possible. The first one, and I actually asked about this here, is that list did not have a cradle in it at all. And I'm guessing the reason for that here is this sort of decreased curve. Really, there's only one card in the whole list that costs more than 2, which is Knight of the Reliquary. So maybe it just doesn't need to Zenith for more. I'm really not sure about this choice here. I've gone ahead and included the Cradle here because it does offer explosive double spelling opportunities. It also could be synergistic with the Sylvan Safekeeper later in the game as you go down lands. But I just was unsure about this, so I decided to include the Cradle. Second here. So again, this is Delver. So the original Delver theory is that you stick a threat, an inexpensive threat, and then you protect it. And then you're the one that's attacking. So you're not trying to come back from behind nearly as much. You're trying to be one of those people that's putting pressure out there. And so we're just including the bare minimum removal spells here. So there's no removal spells 5 through 8, at least not really. No Prismatic Ending, no Dismember, no Punishing Fire, just the 4 of these here, because the goal is that we're going to be putting pressure on early, and then we're just going to remove what we absolutely have to. Mother of Runes. The Eternal Weekend list I just discussed, that one had 61 cards, and oh man, I probably should just do that, but I have decided that I'm more comfortable with 22 lands, not including Dryad Arbor, and that means making a tiny cut somewhere. So I have decided to go to 3 Mother of Runes to 4, which were in that list here. And the reason for that is that we have this Safekeeper as well to protect our stuff, particularly versus the Mystic Forge thing where the Mother of Runes doesn't do anything. Again, trying to respect the original list as much as problem. Lorcac really likes the Hushbringer effects, so for that reason, there's no Endurance in this list. And I have just decided to split the 3 Hushbringer to be 2 Hushbringer because of the lifelink kind of being relevant, and 1 Doorkeeper Thrall because it does have flash and it can help with artifacts as well. Now, most of the time we'd actually rather just cast it on our turn because we're going to be wanting to play around days or before our opponent gets an additional card in hand or something like that, where they could maybe remove the thing. But I just figured it to be fun, 2-1 like that. Marsh Flats. So I'm kind of set on the full 8 fetches here, and the last couple of months I've been testing, especially in green-white lists, a just additional way to find your basic planes, or one of basic planes. And for that reason, I've got the 4 Windswept Heath, and then I just split here 2 Verdant Catacombs, 1 Wooded Foothills, and Marsh Flats. That helps us find our basic planes one more time. I don't know, maybe this is wrong. The priority should be the basic forest, but that's the decision I've made here at least. Also, the GW Delver list had 3 Savannah and 1 basic forest. I have gone to an additional basic forest here just as of stability here. I'm guessing the reason for that is that there's a more frequent situation where you might want to double spell on a turn with a Thalia plus one of these other white cards. I just don't know what's correct here, but this is just my mild preference. So 2 Savannah, 2 basic forest, because that's kind of the whole reason to be green-white. The original list had basically a 5th removal spell here in Talon Gates. That has really nice synergy with Elvish Reclaimer. I've been playing Talon Gates without Reclaimer and liking it there just because surprisingly often is relevant from hand. But we have 4 Reclaimer here, so because of that, we have Talon Gates, of course. Bajuka Bog. So when you are playing Hushbringer effects, that means your Endurance does not work. And Endurance is a really good card for this strategy generally, but in this case, we've got Bajuka Bog instead. I guess the reasoning here is we're just going to try and stop one big reanimation, hopefully, and use our Keen-Eyed Curator to clean up the rest of it. So Bajuka Bog is making up for our lack of Endurance here. And like I said, the Cradle here. So I don't know. Maybe this really should be a 3rd Savannah. Maybe there should be only 22 lands, including Dryad Arbor, like in the other list. I'm really not sure. Like I said, I'm trying to respect the list. A couple of other interesting choices here. You'll notice that there is no Outland Liberator or Kasali Pride Mage in the main. That is in the sideboard here. And I think the reason here is, once again, we're trying to put pressure in here. We don't really want to spend 3 to 4 mana blowing up a land, taking a turn off to wait for this thing to flip to destroy an artifact. So I'm just respecting that here. Also, because we're trying to put pressure on early in the game, I think there's been a choice here to not have a Birds of Paradise or Ignoble Hierarch for your 4th Hierarch, so just the 4th Hierarch here. What else? Yeah, so the choice here for the main, the 1 green Sun Zenithal bear in the main here is Collector Oof, with Teague in the board. And I think that pretty much covers everything here. Oh yeah, I am sort of sour on Spirit of the Labyrinth and been really liking Thalia lately. So I have just gone to 4 Thalia and no Spirit of the Labyrinth. So I guess a non-zero number of changes I made between here and the original list. So let's talk about the sideboard a little bit. So first of all, the original sideboard was 4 Deafening Silence, 2 Force of Vigor. I just figured I'd go to 3 Silence, 3 Force of Vigor to diversify this as much as possible. Pithing Needle is very good against both Nadu, and it's very good against Mystic Forge list. The original list had a Maze of Ith and a Sagiri's Step, but those Lorkac wasn't sure what to do with, so I don't have those in here, which gives me a couple of flex spots here. And just because Reanimator is still very popular, I've got the full 3 Fairy Macabre. So this is where we're going to do a little bit of deck building and figure out what's going on. First of all, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards here have been really useful in green-white lists, particularly playing Stoneforge Mystic. However, they're not that good on curve and are kind of meant for a game that might go a little bit longer. And once again, our goal here is to apply that early pressure. So we're not going to play Choke or Aven Mind Sensor or Palace Jailer. And this card has been soloing random matchups for me. But we're not going to play it either the goal here is that we're going to hedge a little bit more towards this Mystic Forge thing, which I'm sure everybody's really excited about. So we're not going to play these cards. So let's get rid of those. That means we have to make a single cut here. So Lorkac's list has just the one collector oof. I am seriously debating including a second copy in case it gets removed against Mystic Forge. I guess with the Safekeeper protect, the Reclaimer, Talon Gates protect, and the Mother of Runes protect, I guess in the off chance, Mother of Runes does protect against Dismember. I guess we don't really need that, so let's cut that here. Which gets me to the controversial card here. Cutsil Malamat Exemplar. So this is a card that was like a pet card of mine earlier in the year. I found that it was okay, particularly good against Control, which is not very popular right now. So this is an interesting one. It's sort of like a Grand Abolisher that's zenithable. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. This is probably the most important feature of this card. The second part, whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to the player, draw a card. We have a lot of creatures with power above their base power. So that's anything off of a hierarch, so that's 4. 4 Elvish Reclaimer, that's 8. 4 Knight of the Reliquary, that's 12. Keen-Eyed Curator, 13. And then we have 4 Green Sun Zenith on top of that. That's 17 ways to make this card possibly dig back. Like I mentioned, there's no card advantage in here at all. The original list didn't either. This is such a low cost that maybe could even help get in for the final bits of damage as your Mother of Runes makes your guys unblockable. Let's just try it out. It's just such a low cost here. And then a Reanimate Excavator in the board for a game where you think might go longer, where you might want to recur some of your lands in pretty Wasteland or get back a Caracas or something like that. Scrib Ranger has just been an all-star as well. So anyway, that's a very long deck tech. This is what we're going to run. All right, I'm going to restart MTGO because it's been on here for a hot. Be quiet here so that if and when I edit this video, it'll just cut out the silent parts. But they did just update the MTGO thing this morning. All right. Hang on a minute here. Well, I hope we can do this. I think that they had posted that the first time it loads after it repatches or whatever, that it takes a really long time to load. So maybe let's just hope that that's the case here. I am interested to see like how these games play out because we're not necessarily going to be we're not necessarily trying to always have a turn 1 hierarch. It'll be interesting to see how the hand evaluation is. Okay. All right, here we are. Green, white, Delver. All right. We have hopped into a league here. Let's see how it goes. I guess it's worth noting that I was talking about how the list has no card advantage. That is true. If you consider the various bears as not doing anything, they are in this list. So we're hoping that the bears we have chosen line up well versus what's out there right now. Also, if their opponent doesn't answer Mother of Runes on turn 1, that's kind of virtual advantage. If cards get stuck in our opponent's hands because they don't do anything, that's advantage for us. Reclaimer kind of tricks the opponent into thinking it's an advantage, and they really get scared of it and want to remove it right away, spend a lot of resources on it, so it sits there making way for other things. So there are various ways that this list will or should work in that way. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they are difficult to evaluate. Against Clips for Life's protestations, and I say that as nicely because it's all in good spirit, I have included the cat in the sideboard. Probably the best list for that cat is going to be like a list that goes more all in on the Raccoon Trash Panda. Yeah, Lorkac. Yeah, Lorkac is definitely interested in ending the game and not messing around. Okay, one moment while I just adjust the viewer here using a slightly different view than I would normally. Okay, no turn 1 green or white sorcerers. That one easily goes back. Okay, this one has a curve that could work. It might expose us. No, it doesn't even expose us to... It is a little tricky because if we look for a basic forest on turn 1, then we might have this curator get stuck in our hand. But we get to a couple more looks between now and then. I think I'm going to keep this and send back the Cradle. Okay, Shadowy Backstreet, and we see Yorion. This is kind of a disaster. It's sort of the worst possible thing. The one thing is that our Hushbringers can actually shut down almost the entire list. So we're going to very much rely on that, but this is like a kind of big... This is a fairly big downside. Okay, that's a good find, and maybe it can buy us a turn. So we're just going to hope to try and stay alive here. I'm going to look for the basic forest here, and Zenith for Dryad Arbor, Keen-Eyed Curator down quickly. The latest taxes lists Yorion lists have really been using Overlord of the Balemerc, and Keen-Eyed Curator is actually doesn't do anything versus that because of the way that, oh, there it is. The way the trigger there's no window to actually exile the stuff in between. On the other hand, they will be looking to fill up the graveyard and do things like brings back a Solitude. So this is pretty much the worst case scenario for us here. So Hushbringer looking hot. Yeah, that's if we can find it. Okay. I think our best chance here is to jank the opponent out of the game by blowing up their lands. So this is actually an interesting decision. We could blow up their land, or we could stick a Curator. They already have a Solitude in hand. Anything we have is not going to live anyway, so let's just at least make them pay for the... In game 2, we'll try and look for a... So yes, we're just hanging out there, but Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. So we are not going to be able to put pressure on the opponent unless we are attacking, and so I think we have no choice but to remove the Stoneforge and hope that we find another swords or something for the Overlord when it comes down. Like I said, the the Outland Liberator is not in this list. The other option is we could blow up the Karakas and hope that they don't have the mana, and then remove the Cauldron itself. Although that gives them life, and we really don't want that. I think our best odds here are to jank the opponent out of the game and just hope that there's no third land. So let's blow up the Karakas. Let's attack with the Keen-Eyed Curator. So it's like life trade-off versus the only really way we get out of this mess. There's another Karakas. Okay, well, that happened. Luckily there's an artifact in there, which is kind of nice. There's a sorcery, which is good. All right, so there's using the Solitude here. If we don't find something impactful on this next turn, I think I'm just going to go to game 2, because it's, again, a very unfavored situation for us. All right, so they have an active Cauldron. This guy is waiting a turn. 3 cards in hand. Yeah, plus the narration. I'm just going to respect our time and go to game 2. They don't know exactly what it is we're doing, and I would rather do this than like reveal the Hushbringer effects now. Okay, so how to combat this list here? Like I said, we don't really have much for it. Thalia, the Liberator can answer like a Vial or a Balemerc, and sometimes they don't cast spells on their turn, so that can be a thing. Excavator can, with the softer white-black land base, maybe. Let's bring in the Cutsil. It does keep them from solituding our guys on our turn and maybe helping dig back into here. And consider either 1 or 2 needles here. The needle answers a lot of different stuff they do. The Scourge Ranger is okay. They have their own flyers. Pro Blue is not very relevant here. I guess using it with the Mother of Runes is kind of nice. Just trim it once here. So we have kind of a max number of relevant things. On the Stoneforge version, the strategy is try and be the first one to get the Umezawa's Jitte out. If you're on Punishing Fire, you want to find something that has that. But here, like I said, we're kind of behind. Oh, there's a Hushbringer. All right, I do not like this Dryad Arbor in hand. However, this is a really great curve of basic forest to Elvish Reclaimer. And the only thing that stops it is Swords to Plowshares, which they have less of. So let's keep this hand. We do have gates. All right, so we're going to go basic forest, basic plains. Also, the nice thing is Reclaimer can sometimes trick the opponent to thinking you're on depths, and I don't think we showed anything to indicate that we weren't on depths. So the question is here, do we expose the Hushbringer or do we wait a turn? I think we just want to play it because they're going to try and do Stoneforge or something turn 2. And the fact that they didn't use the Swords to Plowshares already is a strong indication. Ordinarily we'd attack first, but I'm going to bring out the Hushbringer because it just stops so many of the things more likely for a Reclaimer to live through the attack. Here's our basic planes. So the jig is up. Hope they don't have swords. There's also a nice play we can hold up next turn, which is to attack with the Hushbringer, hold up the Dryad Arbor, and get cycled away for a basic forest or something. Yeah, they got rid of the Stoneforge in this deck. All right, I will call that a moral victory already. Okay, so this is not a creature, so it probably still does this thing. Yes, Caracas. And did they find anything? Returns Solitude. All right, Solitude doesn't do anything either. However, it can block our stuff. All right, so we're on a roll here with the Hushbringer tech. Keen-eyed Curator. All right, I think the correct play here is so holding up Reclaimer protects our Hushbringer and cycles away this useless Dryad Arbor. Yep. And they can make it they can make it at instant speed, but Hushbringer flies. So let's just attack with that thing and hold on a turn. Lion's Sash. Okay. That will somewhat police our Reclaimer. All right. I think we should cycle the Dryad Arbor for a fetch land so that we can turn on the Reclaimer as an attacker. The other option is we could cycle it for a Cradle, which means we could, if we can find a second Zenith, we could maybe get in with a Cat next turn. They also don't have the removal spell, so maybe we just hold up that for one more turn so that when we get the Curator, we can be certain to get it online and then find the Cat. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. All right, let's go with the Windswept. Oh, a second Zenith. Okay, now I wish I had gotten the Cradle. All right, well, let's attack for one with the Hushbringer. Another difficult turn. Yeah, I know. I think the correct thing is to get the... I think what I'm going to do is... I already got rid of the Dryad Arbor. I think we're going to hold up the Reclaimer one more turn here and find the Cradle next turn. That's fine as well. Flicker Wisp. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Okay. I'm going to save the swords for the... These lines are very different than what I normally use. Okay. Yeah, let's just cycle away. Let's get rid of a Savannah. And I'm going to find the Cradle here to try and double spell or something next turn. Pithing Needle. Okay. Did not find another land. What I'm going to do here is... So we can't attack with the Hushbringer. I don't really want to use the swords on the Flicker Wisp, but I do want to keep putting on pressure. Need to... all right, let's get the Curator online and up some Reclaimer activation again for next turn. I think we just continue not to block. We have lifelink here. Okay, still don't... Yeah, let's just cycle this away. Keeps them off black. I'm going to keep that. Land. All right, that's a land. Okay, so what we could do here... I guess we're attacking with our Hushbringer and our... I think on this turn we're going to want to deploy to the board to play this. We want mana here. Playing Safekeeper. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Safekeeper is a good find here. Okay, so let's Zenith for a really good choice. That Lion Sash is getting out of hand. We can't block. I think what I want to do is we're going to use all this stuff. So let's just attack with everything. Okay, so we got the Solitude out of the system. Okay, I think I'm going to hold up the Curator. This deck is so mana hungry. I did not see this line. So that makes it have 8+3 is 11, 10. All right, so they're attacking for a lot. I am going to, next turn, I'm going to Zenith for the Outland Liberator. I think that's what we have to do here. All right, let's see what they find. They got the Witch Enchant. All right, we're going to block here. Let's block the Overlord. Blow up the lines. Okay. Not a lot of great choices here. We can get in, we can gain 2 life, or we can block the Flicker Wisp. I guess we can block the Flicker Wisp and then... We could save our Hushbringer with the Talon Gates. That unfortunately turns on all of their stuff with the Yorion next turn for like max value. The other option would be, yeah, getting yeah, but then the Flicker Wisp can still come in for the difference. Yeah, the Bailmerk, I'm not going to feel too bad if this matchup is not a win because it's just such an impossible... Okay, so the Flicker Wisp is the only real choice we have is to use the Reclaimer's ability. I am going to play the Needle, and I'm just going to name something the list does. We'll try and live a turn and hope that they don't Yorion themselves into infinity. Yeah, we are, but we can Talon Gates away the Flicker Wisp. And now they got the Lion Slash. All right, so we have to chump it. Yes, it's the... They're not going to cast the Yorion this turn. Oh, they are. Mother of Runes. Okay, let's... So they're just going to exile anything we exile with the Lion Slash right back. We don't have enough to get... We almost have enough to win this turn with the Curator, but I think they're going to dueling... All right. And we just skipped our attack, of course. All right, I am going to concede this game. This is a difficult matchup. Rough piloting there. All right, well, it's exactly what we didn't want to hit. Showing my inexperience with online play. Update our record here. Hushbringer aside, that is like a really tough one for us here. All right, we have won the die roll. And yeah, we have a nice here, forest, plains. We have basically all the options available for us. We have a way to protect some stuff. It's not a very threatening hand, but maybe we could Zenith on turn 2. Maybe we could like play turn 1 Mother of Runes, turn 2 Zenith for a Delver, and give this a try. Plus we got Scrib Ranger tricks to use with the Mother of Runes. Nice stable mana. Yeah, I like it. So plus our opponent might be confused about what we're on by starting basic plains mode. I don't know if this opponent always plays Doomsday or not. Vexing Bauble. Okay, that does nothing. Okay, I think we are going to do exactly what I Zenith for a Reclaimer. Basic Swamp Vexing Bauble. This is probably trying to protect some sort of combo. The only thing that really does anything there is Thalia for us. And I think we'll just get the threat out there. Basic Forest. So this is like a good Lorkac question. In this situation, do you hold the Reclaimer back and like not use your mana to get it bigger? Or do you just keep attacking with it and hope to naturally fill it up? That I just don't know what the correct strategy is there. Because the way this is thought of is so different. Okay, opponent cycles a Vesting Bauble. I guess that's a good sign. Underground Sea. I am going to opt to spend the mana and just attack this opponent. Unmask. Okay. A fairly resilient hand here, so I'm not that worried about that. Knight of the Reliquary. Alright. Play the Bog. And I am just going to attack another Vexing Bauble. Talon Gates. Okay. Let's play the Safekeeper since they know we have it. And we can just destroy one of our own lands. And this is really the theory of this deck happening live. That we have made a Delver and we have protected it. So this is really kind of interesting to see this play out. Okay, well let's attack with the Scribridger and the Elvish Reclaimer. Let's see if we can accidentally surveil into another land. We did. All right, we don't even have to sacrifice a land. That's kind of exciting. On the other hand, we also have nothing else going on, so we have to hope that they are up to, that it's just not coming together. Street Wraith. All right, so this is probably Doomsday, but we can attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next turn. So if they cast Doomsday, they have to win this turn. That's his Oracle. Okay. Let's... Yeah, I guess let's just... And we can even use the Script Ranger again. Yeah, let's just... Let's play the Wooded Foothills. I am just going to main phase Talon Gates to just get in for the max damage here. Thanks, Ben. All right, we are just going to thin here. Best find is a removal spell. Thalia. That really slows down their ability to Doomsday next turn. It also slows down any removal spells they might have. Plus, it doesn't even matter with the Safekeeper. This is like not ideal, but it would waste the maximum mana to play it now. Blue. Dark Ritual, 2 mana. Okay. So they're going to try and Doomsday this turn. Only use 1 Street Wraith here. On the other hand, they will have 4... they will have 4 Devotion, and they know we don't have a removal spell. Yeah, I just got the message that I have may have... Oh, they might assume you have a second Untapped Reclaimer and second Talon Gate. It was mentioned to me that I may have blown it by wasting the Talon Gates. Perhaps a more astute thing there would be to think about the math of it a little bit better. I also forgot that I could untap my own Mother of Runes a second time, plus the Safekeeper, so that was probably a mistake on my behalf. If we do not win this game, we're going to look for any hand with Thalias and Hushbringer that basically slows down this list a lot. So they're going to have 2 cards left in hand. A Brainstorm would cost 2. I believe they have played a land. They have not played a land this turn. So if one of the cards in hand, I think it's probably safe to say that, I mean, this is a pretty easy pile. It depends on how many copies of, what's it called? Edge of Autumn they have. So if they have 2 mana Brainstorm, then they pay a 3rd mana for Lion's Eye Diamond. I don't believe the Deep Analysis Lion is available to them, because that would cost all of the remaining, unless they already have like an Edge of Autumn in hand. Alternately, they could Street Wraith. No, I mean, I think the easiest possible pile here is just, it just depends if they have the Brainstorm in hand or not. I would imagine they do. Okay, so there is the Brainstorm in hand, and then they could just cast the Thassa's Oracle, and they just have to hope that I don't have a second Talon Gate, which I do not. There's the land. Okay, Edge of Autumn. Yep, nothing we can do. Or nothing, at least the way I played it. And they have played around second Talon Gates anyway. So I guess it wouldn't have... No, I got it. Okay. Opponent messed up. We can never underestimate that possibility. All right. Which is kind of what I did the last game. That was a really difficult game to navigate, and I'm sure I did not do a very good job. Again, I am just not used to this Reclaimer package, and holding up the mana is really weird and awkward if you're not used to it. Okay, so what do we have here that does anything? Deafening Silence. Pithing Needle stops both of their cyclers. Collector Oof stops Lion's Eye Diamond. I do not think that's a very impactful play, especially if we have Thalia. Teague doesn't stop anything here. So it's what else is relevant here. We want to apply as much pressure as possible. I don't think we want to take a turn off to cast the Scrib Ranger, although it was kind of useful in the last game. Okay, for the chat here, do I get rid of the Mother of Runes here? Are they going to spend removal spells on my bears? I mean, they didn't see either Thalia or Hushbringer. I'm not sure if they're even going to assume it's... To me, this here applies pressure. I guess we can go down 1 copy of Knight of Relic. I'm going to go down 1 copy of Mother of Runes as well, because it doesn't attack very well. And maybe 1 once? Yeah. All right, let's try this. Okay, so we have here a turn 1 Deafening Silence that slows down them probably maximally. It's the only thing that disrupts them in this list. The once could find any of the 7 bears. Plus, we're playing second. The Reclaimer, typically I like to keep a hand that does 2 things, and 1 isn't good enough. I don't really need a second copy of Reclaimer. Opponent kept a 7. I think we can do better than this. Oh boy, that's not really better. But it is a turn 1 play into a guaranteed... no, it's not even a guaranteed turn 2 play. So it's a turn 1 Needle, turn 2 blow up their land, and cast a Noble Hierarch. Turn 3 cast Thalia. Hopefully that slows them down enough. I really don't like this hand. I'm not worried about them removing the Noble Hierarch though. I'm going to keep it, put back the Reclaimer here. I think the previous hand was a little bit better. Okay, we're not going to be able to blow up a land. Okay, second Hierarch. I guess we want to get on board with the Hierarchs, both to put pressure on, and a basic island. It would have to be exactly Dark Ritual into Doomsday, into Brainstorm. I think it's the only possible way they can win on that combination of mana, which is fairly unlikely. Plus, if we play Needle, they'll just play whatever the other one is. And this is like the follow-up play. Another ponder, we'd like to see that. Unfortunately, it's a little awkward. Okay, Underground Sea, Dark Ritual, Doomsday. All right, so they cannot win this turn unless they have a Lion's Eye Diamond in hand. So next turn, cast Thalia, blow up the Underground Sea is a really good line for us. All right. All right, narrating is just so different than playing normally. All right, let's see what they did here. Well, they are going to try and win this turn. Okay, so Street Wraith aligns very well. Edge of Autumn. So they got rid of their own Lotus Petal. So this is Lion's Eye Diamond into another Edge of Autumn, which then casts Thassa's Oracle. So that only worked because they had a Street Wraith in hand. I think particular Doomsday line is a little less common. All right, so they got it. So actually the Deafening Silence would have been the better turn one play in that particular case. But they can play around that too. It really stops the Dark Ritual and the Doomsday line though. I guess the oof, like it stops the Lotus Petal line. I don't think the Reclaimer is all that impactful here. I guess if you're just like casting a creature on turn 2 that attacks and blocks, the Collector Oof does stop their fastest lines here. And I'll bring in the Curate. Yes, we'll play first. Okay, so we have here Acceleration into Thalia, blow up a land. It's about as good as it. This is like a classic. It's 2-3 pieces of interaction. It's really about the best we could do. I don't think it's worth fishing for a Hushbringer. Let's make them think that we're thinking about it. All right, let's keep it 6 cards. All right. Okay. For a Savannah. And let's hope they don't have a turn 1. Okay. So that we do have the combo here. This is very good for us that we'll have to spend a Force of Will. The sequencing doesn't matter here. I mean, we stop the days regardless. I guess like it gets rid of the land no matter what and forces the Force of Will. It does matter. What's the correct choice here? I actually don't even know. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Blow up a land. Play around days. All right. We are in. Hopefully they do not have a basic to follow that up. Yes. Yes. Oh, get rid of a Thoughtseize. Oh, that's a bummer. I think we just deploy max pressure here. Or do we attack for 3? I mean, we're so far ahead, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. I'm going to do like this. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there were 3/4. I didn't even notice that. Hey, Lorkac. Theory coming into practice again. So we're attacking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 next turn. Is a turn 2 clock. Boom. Ooh, we're playing Delver. Yeah, that is right. It's a combo. On the subject of Thalia, I mean, like so much has been said about this, but I was thinking about it a little bit more. And basically, another one of the reasons that I think Taxes is not playing it is that because they're trying to out-removal the opponent most of the time, and they have so much like recursion and backup plans and being able to do it over and over, that they don't really need Thalia to win these games. And they also really need their own mana to cast stuff. And Thalia can occasionally slow them down. So they're just sort of less able to effectively utilize Thalia. Yeah, they want to get to 5 mana every single time. So there's a couple of very prominent players that like to talk about how Thalia sucks or whatever. And maybe it's not so much that Thalia is bad, but that Thalia like actually makes more sense in this list than in the current iteration of Taxes. That was like another one of my many thoughts about it. But as long as it's not being removed on curve, I mean, I'm with the other players here that Thalia has been really strong lately for me. Yeah, they're less likely to be able to blow up the lands. They don't have the ports in there. Yeah. So they can't really like combo out, like pseudo combo out an opponent quite the same way. Yeah, I think that even if the Bowmaster comes back as a 4/of, I will continue to try it because they still have to spend removal on that. It just remains the most impactful thing, and they're not always going to have it. It slows down their ability to find it, etc., etc. So, yeah, maybe more Mother of Runes. All right, we have won the die roll again. Our opponent has the Grief avatar. I'm not familiar with this player. All right. We have here a nice curve. Basic forest into noble hierarch. All right. Another Lorkac question. I do not know. Do you play a turn 1 reclaimer? Turn 2 hierarch? So that the reclaimer grows? I mean, we want to protect the threat. Well, either way, this is a keep. So this is a great question to think about. When you have these two different choices, turn 1 reclaimer versus turn 1 hierarch, the reclaimer is the bigger threat. We don't have a way to protect it right now. Alternately, we could reclaimer turn 1 and then turn 2 Sylvan Safekeeper. I don't really want to go down lands at this point of the game to protect it either. I guess like respecting the theory of the... I think getting ahead on mana is still the slightly better plan here because we do have the option of the turn 2 Knight of the Reliquary or turn 2 Zenith or something. So I just don't know if the turn 1 Reclaimer is to sort of maximize your turn 1 plays or if that is like the primary game plan most of the time. I am going to go with Hierarch. I don't know what they pick here. We have a pretty resilient hand. I wonder how many points we get just by tricking the opponent into thinking we're playing Depths. Knight of the Reliquary. Okay, so that means they're afraid of getting hit for a lot of damage, probably. Mother of Runes. Well, that makes these plays very... If it's a Knight of the Reliquary, it means they're concerned about their life total. I'm going to play a Mother of Runes and protect for Swords to Plowshares or a Flesh Portico. Thoughtseize leads me to believe this is probably Reanimator, which means they would need to Entomb Reanimate this turn, otherwise the Reclaimer has... Okay, so we do not need to worry about Entomb Reanimate, which means, especially if we find a land, I am tempted to Zenith for a Scrib Ranger next turn. Bloodstained Mire. Maybe it is Storm? I think we're holding up Reclaimer regardless, so I'm going to look for the Lush Portico here. Cradle. That's a lot of mana next turn. We don't really need it to double spell, though. But we could Zenith and hold up Reclaimer. They were afraid of the Knight of the Reliquary. That lets us easily find it, blow up their lands. Or we could find a Collector Oof, which is what Bloodstained... I'm going to keep it on top because it allows us to kind of maximize our options. All right, opponent was afraid of the Knight of the Reliquary. So we could Zenith for that. We could Zenith for Collector Oof because of Thoughtseize, Ponder, and Bloodstained Mire, and try and Soul Read there. We could Zenith for Scrib Ranger and make sure our guys are fine, but I don't think that's the most impactful play. I don't think they're playing Reanimator because... Right, I'm going to play the Cradle. I'm going to Zenith for Collector Oof. I think this is Storm, which somewhat awkwardly means we really can only attack with the Hierarch, such as life. Ad nauseam Tendrils. I also think it's unlikely that a Reanimator player would not deploy anything to the board, not cycle a Troll, another Underground Sea, Dark Ritual. Okay, Storm. So we guessed correctly. We got the right bear. All right, they have gotten rid of our Swords to Plowshares. Show and Tell, huh? Archon of Cruelty. Well, they're probably not using any... They probably don't have any removal spells then. It's probably the Mother of Runes. I guess we don't really need the Hierarch in this case either. Well, Archon of Cruelty. Do we have anything to... Not... Like... I guess let's slow down the opponent. And maybe we just... The Collector Oof doesn't matter anymore. I guess we find a Knight of the Reliquary. It at least can attack for something big next turn. Oh, yeah, Talon Gates. Yeah, good point. Okay. Black Show and Tell. I didn't expect... Maybe it's like a pivot. Reanimate Knight of the Reliquary. Not ideal, but it is what it is. Yeah. Try and find a Swords option. We can continually block the Knight of the... We have 1/5 lands, so ours will be bigger than theirs. We get rid of the Collector Oof next turn. But also Keen-Eyed. I think this is the better plan here. Another Archon of Cruelty. Alright, well... Okay. I like what we have here for the most part. Let's bring in the Fairy. It's kind of the only thing we have here, and it is a nice clean break for Mother of Runes. I highly doubt they are playing live, especially with Reanimator and Show and Tell. It might just be like something more resembling a classic Reanimator list. Maybe if they're playing Animate Dead, this thing does. I guess I'm going to gamble that they don't need Safekeeper. Probably don't need the Collector Oof then. Yeah. Okay, we have a Swords, we have a Safekeeper, We have a fairy. It doesn't stop show and tell, but this is 2 answers, and it stops them from going as turbo unless they take a turn off to stop Thoughtseize. We don't have acceleration. Yeah, I do like having 2 answers. This hand doesn't do anything until turn 1. It really doesn't do anything until turn 3. It just keeps us alive. I don't think that's a high enough upside. Okay, this is a little bit better. This Hushbringer will at least stop the Archon of Cruelty from doing anything. So we're protected against show and tell. This is actually not too bad. Archon answer, slow graveyard answer, fast graveyard answer, plus the Hushbringer off of a show and tell. Thoughtseize. Okay. So if they're playing show and tell, they want to get to 3 mana. Trying to decide, does that mean it's safe to go for the Lush Portico? Probably. The best possible find is another, okay, so they got with a fairy. All right, not a great sign. All right, so do we go for the Lush Portico here? I think I want some kind of backup. I mean, it's either that or we don't really even have the way to play a Hushbringer on days. I don't think we have time to, I think we just need to look for some kind of noble hierarch. I don't think that's it. Especially since they stopped, I think the best thing we can do is to force them to use a Force of Will or days. May as well just save something else we can try and do that disrupts 2 turns in a row. That's a really tough call. All right. I mean, it's not going to surprise them. They already know it's here, and they're not going to show and tell it anyway. All right. It's in. I wonder if they have like a one of Grizzlebrand or a Valgavoth Archon of Cruelty. All right, so we have a 1-turn window to simply hope that it doesn't do anything. All right. Once upon a time. I mean, yeah, we just simply have to. I guess if we wait till upkeep, it plays around Force of Negation, but then they could hardcast a Daze. But they don't care about hardcasting a Daze. This almost certainly has a Force. Once-ing doesn't do anything this time. They already know we have the swords. I guess upkeep plays around Force of Negation. Nobody's playing Force of Negation. I doubt they're playing Force of Negation anyway, based on, does it work? Okay, it didn't matter anyway. Okay, so if we can't get a creature in play no matter what, so nothing that does matters. I guess it's just simply better for us to gain an extra life by attacking into this thing. Maybe they don't block. Oh, they do go ahead and block. Okay. All right, let's pass. Thoughtseize. Well, this means we can at least once upon into a land, perhaps. Yeah, Talon Gates. If we find a land next turn, we might buy ourselves a turn. Land or removal spell. Thalia. Oh boy. Just gonna get discarded. All right. Land or removal spell. There's a land, but that's not the right one. All right. Hoping that we'll face the Mystic Forge so we can try out some of the increased tech we've got for them. But, this list we put together is a little worse versus Reanimator than the non-Hushbringer list, especially with show and tell. So I can't be too upset with the way things have gone so far. We're playing second here. Yeah, I mean, this is a perfectly defensible hand. There's acceleration, there's Mother of Runes. It is a little soft to getting our lands blown up, but could double or even triple spell with the Cradle. Oh no, is this another Yorion? Please tell me no. Okay, I should have looked at that before. Okay. Reclaimer. Oh man, we really need Hushbringer for this matchup. I mean, they're going to have their wall of removal as always. Maybe we trick them. Maybe we're thinking we're playing a Violist. All right, I'm going to try this. Again, we're just so unfavored here that I'm just looking for the line that's most likely to get us to a place where maybe we can win. Okay, this is a red version. Basic Mountain. Maybe they think we're on 60 card taxes. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Removal spell? Probably Cauldra. Pre-war Formalware. Okay. So this is the red version. Maybe what they plan to do is to Bombardiers away something. There's nothing for the Formalware to get. I wonder if they got the Formalware because they have the Cauldra in hand. I don't know. I try to be kind to my opponents, but this opponent is taking a very long time to respond to anything we do. So there's one or two options here. Either this opponent is a little perhaps a little bit inexperienced and got formalware because they think I'm going to go for the basic forest just in case. So we can get our reclaimer online that stops a formalware that they're going to do later, and then if they do have the Cauldra, we can just point the swords at that. Alternately, we could stop the Stoneforge Mystic from doing anything at all, and maybe hope that they get scared of the reclaimer, because the reclaimer also stops the formalware from doing anything. Once again, Lorkac question, I don't know. I'm going to guess that we want to just put pressure here, and that's how we do this. I am going to gamble that they don't also have Cauldra in hand. A Johnny. Okay. That is actually pretty good. So we could bounce it to hand that doesn't really help us once upon a time. All right, so there's still nothing for them to formalware back. Play the Noble Hierarchy. And then next turn we can try and get Scrib Ranger up and hope that that helps with this matchup. Okay, well, we just make them use it. Broadside Bombardiers. We're going to use our Talon Gates now to stop this because they're clearly really worried about the Mother of Runes. And I guess they want to, so the play next turn, so this is tough. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We need to hold up a Reclaimer because they're going to try and broadside something away. And then I think we have to wait one more turn before attacking. Because we do have kind of, I think what they're thinking here is that they're going to attack with the broadside and the Stoneforge, then activate, or like attack with the broadside, sack the Stoneforge, try and formalware back the Stoneforge, and hopefully we can bog them and no attacks. Okay. You're into hand. Okay. And we're just going to find a lush action here. Hushbringer. That is really good. Okay. I think the correct play here is just to attack him with the large Knight of the Reliquary. Wow, we stole a game. That is awesome. Hilarious. Okay. All right, taxes. I like the cat. I think we know how to sideboard from this from earlier today. Pithing Needle, Outland Liberator, and this, there is a line of blow up their lands, cut them out of the game with that. Thalia does basically nothing here. Scrib Ranger is going to be useful to double protect. If anything, I think the Knight of the Reliquary is just okay. It is really good in that version and might be justified. You just kind of have to hope that it misses, but then you're going to have a double target for it. But this is the red version. So our stuff really nicely lined up once they had against what they had that time. That was. I honestly think the Knight of the Reliquary is just okay here, because this at least offers the ability to cut them off their very hungry mana base. This stops Broadside Bombardier, kind of just turns it into a boring 2/2. Also stops the Ajani. I think I'm just going to trim a once. Oh, yeah, maybe that's right. We only have 4 Hierarchs here. Okay. After talking about trimming a Hierarch, I certainly don't think we want 3. And none of this disrupts anything that our opponent is doing. Just, well, it does stop their first 2 things, but not safely. Goes to 6. Yeah, well, maybe just stopping their first 2 things, getting on board and attacking might be fine, and it will mean they'll save the removal, or they could waste removal on these kind of anemic threats. This is actually kind of interesting. All right, let's keep it for science, especially since we won game 1. Arid Mesa. Vile. Okay. Well, we have a path to an oof. I'm going to go for a basic here because I don't want to get janked out of the game, and we have 3 Hierarchs. Continue to deploy Hierarchs here. I'd love to do 2, but I am worried about Mother of Runes. End of turn. Not a great group of matchups today, unfortunately, for this list. We haven't faced a tempo list. We've only faced kind of 1 combo, unfortunately. I don't know, the opponent is just playing really slow. They might be trying to play 2 games at once or disconnected. Well, we might be able to get a W from timing out here, which is not really what we hope for, and let's hope we get like a nice tempo matchup for the next one, or maybe another shot at a combo or something. I actually would like to place Mystic Forge pile because I have a nice sideboard set up for it. Yeah, probably. I think they disconnected at about 13 minutes, so we've got just a little longer until we get a win here. There it goes. All right. Yeah. Okay, let's play the final lead match. A win is a win, that's right. Yeah, especially versus our unfavored Taxes opponent. Somehow, uh, which we somehow beat in game one. I think that Reanimator with show and tell in the main package that matchup is probably okay. Nothing super exciting. I mean, not that we're super favored or anything, but a little bit of a bummer. We didn't have a better showing versus that one. All right, we are playing first. Okay, so we probably have an impactful turn 1 play, impactful turn 2 play. I don't love the Dryad Arbor, but worst case scenario, we play a turn 1 Reclaimer. I know, I always get the Arbor in hand. It's a frustrating card. I just think this hand is solid enough without it. Yeah, it's got an answer. All right, opponent, please don't reveal Yorion. Okay, they kept the hand. See what the once finds. Another Hushbringer, Reclaimer, Forest, Verdant Catacomb. A Verdant Catacombs gives us a nice, clear way to play off 2 bases. The Dryad Arbor is basically turn off anyway. We could hold up. I don't really like holding up Reclaimer with the Wasteland as the other land in play. I am tempted to just go with the Verdant Catacombs here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that here. And I have forgotten that the Dryad Arbor is in hand. Okay. Well, oh boy. All right. Well, all right. We could play Reclaimer, or we could hold up a Doorkeeper Thrall. We already kind of took turn 1 off. Man, these Reclaimers really seriously change the way the texture of this sequencing turns out. And on the right answer here. If this is Reanimator, I guess getting the Reclaimer online is better. On the other hand, we can maybe buy a turn with the Doorkeeper Tool. All right. Fatal Push. Oh, that's fine. Verdant Catacombs. Yeah, I think I'm going to play the Verdant Catacombs and hold up the Thrall. Tameo. Okay. And then I am going to Lush Portico now. All right, that works. So the game plan here is going to be to probably try and blow up the rest of their lands next turn. 2 blue. Petty Theft. That was really annoying. That's what that's what Brazen Borrower does. It is very annoying. All right, I don't know that. I'm not sure I agree with that play, but sure. Oh, that's interesting. Can't cast it. I think we find a Hierarch and blow up another land here. Alternately, we save up for another Zenith for a Excavator. Excavator's in the board anyway, so that doesn't work. Okay, I'm going to fish out Thoughtseize again. Okay. Well, saves the Tameo to block. All right. I guess now I hope we find a Noble off the top. Thalia. Yeah, that works for me. They already know the Arbor's in hand. There's no reason to hide it. Unfortunately, there's no good attacks here, so we will, if I'm them, maybe try and flip the Tameo and then get back a removal. They really have 2 of our creatures they need to remove, though. Okay, draw a card. So they cannot cast Fatal Push this turn. I like that. Okay, so do we diversify our attacks? Desperate for another clue. Still doesn't find a land? 2 mana Brainstorm. All right. So the Tameo's been flipped. Will unfortunately have to attack. Okay, another really good find here. But Thalia is showing, the Tameo is showing just how effective it is at just slowing the game to a crawl and distracting for many turns on end. Let's go Thalia, yeah. We're double protected against Orcs on the chance that they have that. They're going to Fatal Push. Okay, that does nothing. You have a 2 mana 1/1. All right, they can't stop this. This is an interesting Zenith. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. That allows us to get a Knight of the Reliquary. Alternately, we could just absolutely finish off the Tameo. I don't think we want the Tameo around for another turn. Yeah, I'm not happy about this, but this is what's happening. It is uncounterable. 3rd Hierarch. 2 mana Ponder. All right, that works for me. I like, this is like a classic showcase of, to state the obvious, why Thalia is still relevant in a lot of matchups, because this really makes the opponent pay. Like, it's almost worse in some sense than uh, stopping it altogether with. Okay, they do have another land, so they're going to probably try and fatal push one of our, but they can't right now. Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty solid delving. So I think the search here is for a Keen-Eyed because we do have enough mana to find a Knight of the Reliquary, but that is a thing that can at least stop them from Tameoing something back, and is more, I think, more likely to get in. So I'm gonna look for that. Oh, was it already? Oh, they already got rid of it. All right. Well, let's just go with the Collector Oof. That keeps them from digging with the clues. Well, hope that wasn't too bad of a mistake. They do still have a Brazen Borrower. We should be able to outpower that. 2 of the Hierarchs? Yeah. So they can get rid of 1. I probably should have gotten Scrib Ranger. Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's look for, hopefully get another Zenith here. Swords to Plowshares. Well, if we got to remove anything, it's this thing. All right. We are up a game. Okay, so this is almost certainly not the Reanimator version, which means we're basically pre-boarded for exactly this already. I am tempted to bring in the cat. I don't think the Collector Oof on the clues is relevant enough because they're going to be constricted on mana anyway, and this can help us pull ahead, and they're not going to expect it coming. I don't think Pithing Needle is worth it for Tameo. Is this worth it? It would absolutely lock the opponent out of the game. Let's bring in the Excavator. No, I prefer the Knight of the Reliquary to do that same thing. I don't think this is a Reanimator. We saw Tameo, Orcish Bowmasters, and Murktide Regent. Also up 3 minutes on clock, which is pretty good. We're, I think, in pretty good shape to Delver our way to Heart's Content. I mean, this looks like, again, we're the one who knocks, at least ostensibly here. We're not trying to answer everything. We're trying to put threats. Multiple turn 1 plays, probably the ability to get Forests and Plains off the once, ability to double spell off of Zenith. I think I like this. I wonder if they cut the Thoughtseizes. Tameo? Ponder. Okay. You love to... We even have an answer to a Tameo here as well. Kind of. I mean, they might try and play around it. So we're hoping for a Verdant Catacombs. Okay. Interesting choices here. Thalia is really strong. It does expose us a little bit. Okay, this is tough. Mother of Runes protects our guys basically for the rest of the game. Thalia is easily answered by Bowmasters. I wonder if they brought it in or out. Verdant Catacombs allows us to just like play our game based on the hand we already had, which is good. Hushbringer really only stops that, plus they're going to see whatever is coming. I don't think we can safely prepare to cast the Thalia. Oh, we do have a Caracas in hand. I am going to choose Thalia. It's just the most impactful here. And to make them work through the Thalia is probably a really good plan as well. I'm going to choose that. That was a really tough one. Okay, I'm going to go Windswept Heath for a basic Forest Noble Hierarch. But we are going to put the pressure on with multiple Delvers style things next turn. Bloodstainmire in this one too. Maybe there is Reanimator. I don't know. Swamp. All right. Psychic Frog. Okay. Another Thalia. All right. That's pretty clear what we should play here. Gains flying. Okay. What we'd really like to avoid seeing here is a second Psychic Frog. They're debating whether or not to use. Okay. I think we should Cradle for a Scrib Ranger. They didn't have the Bowmasters last turn, so maybe they won't have it this turn. I think that's the play. We can also we can play one Reclaimer out for free. Actually, we could play both Reclaimers for free. Now let's do that. Yeah, Lorkac's list didn't have one, but we're seeing it do its one of thing here. I really hope they daze this. That would make me very happy. Orcish Bowmaster. Opponent needs to win 2 games, including this one, in the next 9 minutes, so feeling very confident about this match. Do we play around this? No. No, because I'd much rather... Actually, no, we get this for free because then they can't... If we play around this daze, if they play around this daze here, then it would be forcible or bust anyway because they do have the extra land. Yeah, I will pay for it. Plus, they don't know we have another Thalia in hand. Yeah, I can still GSC for Zoo. And they don't... Yeah. Yeah, let's pay for it. Hopefully they use a It was either a waste of a days. They were not expecting that reclaimer. I'm sorry, they weren't expecting that cradle. And now they've really set themselves back the ability to do basically anything. The lowly script merger, yeah. Well, I mean, we could still get orked here. They have, but we basically overloaded the orcs, which is like the theory. That they just can't orc everything. And the card is not all that impactful because it's not a bear versus what we're doing. I don't think we have a single card in this entire list that says draw a card. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Scrib Ranger? Thalia! Oh my god! Yes! Oh. Oh, that's so fantastic. Why? Oh man, this just makes that. This is why people play Maverick. I mean, yes, okay, there's winning games, of course, but then there's like just putting the opponent in these really tough situations. First of all, respect the heck out of it. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Do it. Attack. No. Not gonna do it. Okay. Oh, you are not gonna like this opponent. Okay. All right, we got a free attack with the Scrib Ranger here. The disrespect, yeah. I wonder if they realize how this card works. Okay. Now we're gonna go second Thalia, and we have double Reclaimer hold up next turn. Plus we can untap the Scrib Ranger. Plus we can save the Scrib Ranger from another orc or something. Yeah, I mean this is why critical control is so good. Do it. Oh my god. Okay, that's fine. Oh, this is so fantastic. I can't even. No, I don't. As I still can double Reclaimer later. They were thinking I was going to bounce the Thalia. I think it's a huge mistake to blow that up. I guess you have no choice because I'm going to probably search one of those up anyway. Okay. I'm willing to lose the Cradle. After this turn, I'm just going to need. I really only need to activate one of those Reclaimers anyway. I don't even know what to Reclaimer for. It might just be a Lesh Portico, to be honest. I think I'm going to go with this. Get the Bog out of the way? Just to keep them from filling the graveyard? Yeah, and then I'm going to... Great end of this league here. Hushbringer, even better. Okay, I am just going to smash in... Unfortunately, the stupid frog makes it so we can really only attack with the Scrib Ranger for now. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get to build a block something with the Psychic Frog. I just Portico again here this turn. See if they don't notice that I can untap the Scrib Ranger itself. Yeah, I'm going to gate at the end of next turn. Fatal Push on the Thalia. Don't even know if I want to save that. I don't think so. I think I would rather... Yeah, that's fine. Attack with the frog. Do it. Just let it go. Oh boy. Okay. Let's we can't save it this time. But they also can't really attack. Yeah, I think we're gonna Cutzel for the cat here. Then they have to block it. So if they discard 3, then that can make this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power. Which means they have no choice but go all in or give up the card. Yeah, we're going for the cat. We're going to do it. Is the Knight of the Reliquary probably the better choice? Probably here, but I could, yeah. I'm just going for the flawless victory. Because nope. Yep. Okay. Oh, they do bounce. Okay, you're right. Messed that one up. Tameo. Okay. Oh, we already lost our Caracas. Okay, whatever. All right, got the 3-2, and this stream has gone on a very long time. Just for fun, let's go ahead and open that chest here. The 5-0, yeah, we got the 5-0. All right, Arabo first, Muldrotha, fancy version, and whatever this is. Maybe that's worth something, I don't know. Cheers, everybody. I got to get back to regular life. Have a great holiday and fun times for the solid Maverick 3-0. Maybe I'll take a minute and try and condense this league sometime in the next week or so and throw it up there. Thanks, everybody.